on, comrades and friends. To see a lot of faces I recognise here today. Even better, there's a lot of people I don't recognise. I'll just give an introduction myself, stuff I do for the party. I'm the Glasgow organiser, Scottish Socialist Youth, which is the youth wing of the Scottish Socialist Party. I'm 22 and I am unemployed, which fits in well with the theme of this week. For the past 4 years, I've studied a degree at Glasgow University doing genetics. And recently I've been putting that to good use by working as a bar packer for EasyJet. For people who appears that our international air travel, despite its massive advances, has not gone far enough to save us for this meeting tonight. Obviously, I don't need to tell people about the situation of the economy and unemployment. I'm sure you already know that yourselves by seeing that in the media and the TV. But I think it's important to put forward a few facts and statistics which you might not have heard, particularly in relation to unemployment for young people, which is unfortunately been ignored by most of the mainstream people, most mainstream media. 20% of 16 to 24-year-olds in the UK are what's known as NEETs. NEETs stands for not in education, employment or training. That means that there's 20% of young people who don't have a job, who aren't on a college course, who aren't at a university, but have no other source of income or role or direction other than effectively the dole or unemployment benefit. And that figure is even worse for under 18-year-olds, where 30% of under 18-year-olds are what's known as NEETs, who are not in education, employment or training. But unlike over 18-year-olds, their situation is worse in one quite obvious way, which is that under 18-year-olds who aren't in a job, who aren't in college, don't have access to benefits. And those young people who do have access to benefits, the situation isn't exactly great either. I myself, when I was on the dole, and we'll be going back to soon, got £110 for a fortnight, which is pretty obviously not the kind of money you really need to live on, basically. But as hard as the situation is for young people, it's important that we don't fall into bits of self-despair for our own self, because there are other people who are suffering as well. For example, city bonuses in the City of London for bankers have fallen by half this year compared to last year. Don't want comrades to get emotional or cry, but they are now currently only £7 million this year. I mean, that's really barely enough for me to rig a presidential election with or buy a small country with, so it's obviously a big hit. And, you know, there's green shoots of recovery even. No, I can't walk around like following these green shoots of recovery, because the government has a plan to get young people in jobs. It's set aside £1 billion investment for 150,000 jobs. And in classic New Labour fashion, they've put down guarantees that these jobs have to last for at least 6 months and must be at least minimum wage. So I mean, that's obviously something as well. But like a lot of green shoots of recovery, these green shoots are based on fertiliser. It's not real. I don't need to tell people that having a job for 6 months, New Labour's minimum wage, is not a stable, it's not an enjoyable move for young people to live on. And we should also remember why this mass unemployment has come about. It's not because young people have decided they're more lazy or because daytime telly suddenly got much better, that the people who are doing The Wire have decided to do Jeremy Kyle and do something as well. The reason we have mass unemployment is because the people who have run the stock market, millionaires and the billionaires, have wrecked it by their own reckless gambling, and they're now turning around and trying to put the blame on unemployed people for being unemployed. Well, I say that blame goes much closer to home. It goes, it's their responsibility. They're the ones who should have to pay for it, pick up the tab. we shouldn't forget that all their profits which they have made are in effect stolen wages, which have often come off people working in these cheap, insecure jobs, and when they've had success, all these profits have stayed in their own hands. But now that the system is falling apart, we're expected to bail it out. You can see Lord Mandelson speaking in the media today saying you have to make severe cuts to the NHS and to the benefits to pay it. But there is an alternative which the Scottish Socialist Party and the Scottish Socialist Youth fights for young people. We are against the government's plan, which in effect does not go as far as what's needed to provide jobs for young people. Let's start only trying to get jobs for 150,000 people. That's obviously not enough. Now almost a million young people are going to be on the dole by the end of Christmas this year. And when they do get the jobs, these are kind of cheap wages, insecure jobs, which often don't really provide any meaningful role in society for themselves, or the jobs themselves don't really produce anything worthwhile. So what is the alternative? The alternative is to start seizing some of the massive wealth which has been stolen from working class people, from young people over the past 30 years, gone in one direction only, into the pockets of these billionaires, and to take it from them and to use it to transform our society. Now, if Scotland was a country with a life expectancy 85, if no child lived in poverty, if there was no crisis with the environment, if we had free public transport, and everyone's social needs was met, and perhaps then you could turn around and say there's a logical reason for people to have nothing to do. But we know that is not the situation Scotland is in. We know there are many areas in this city which have a life expectancy which is actually more than the Gaza Strip. We also know that the environment has been one of the major issues of the day and is under increasing threat as well. So an Independent the other day, the fact that two freighter ships have raced each other on the journey across the Northwest Passage, which is now melted away because of climate change. It's called, I think they called it quite rightly, a victory for man, but a disaster for mankind. Trying to provide the resources for green energy and for renewable energy to stop this kind of catastrophic climate change is the kind of jobs which should be provided for young people, instead of the low-paid and efficient McDonald's jobs, which in practice have dried up already because it's no longer profitable. What I would say, comrades, opposing, is that we should start to take back some of the wealth which has been stolen from us and to use it to rebuild society collectively, using everyone's skills, everyone's talents, using everyone's education. Whether or not it is profitable to stop the Earth's climate being destroyed, whether or not it is profitable to eliminate child poverty from Scotland forever, whether or not it is possible to build hundreds of thousands of new social houses for people who do not have homes, shouldn't be a factor. Profit should no longer be a factor, because that has determined what our economy has done for decades, and now we're paying the price for it. Now we've seen the job losses coming in, and we've seen all the wealth which has been created go in one direction into these billionaires. We should start to build a new society for people which actually takes account of human need and not the bankers and the stockbrokers' need.